So again, I'm Paul Grand. I'm the CEO of MedTech Innovator. In the corner on the screen, you should see two handles over there at MedTech Awards and hashtag MedTech Innovator. We are very active on social media, especially these days when we're all at home and not at our offices in most cases. So we like it if you have an opportunity to screen capture today. So you can just depending on your computer, if you're on a Mac, it's Command-Shift-3 and you can capture the screen, or Command-Shift-4 and you can capture a little part of the screen, save that, tweet it out, post it on LinkedIn, whatever you want to do. We like to show people how we've been able to continue doing these pitch events online. We've had a lot of success with that. So again, at MedTech Awards on Twitter, hashtag MedTech Innovator on LinkedIn. So a little bit about MedTech Innovator in the background. MedTech Innovator is a nonprofit. We've been in the business of accelerating startups now for 8 years. Our entire mission is to find the best technologies all over the world, no matter where they may be, and bring them to the people who can actually help bring those products to market. One of the things that we've observed over the years is that a huge problem in the industry has been the lack of experienced people who are advising companies. So luckily, there are people still funding companies, but unfortunately, most of those people don't have a lot of experience in bringing medical products to market. And so these companies make mistakes. And what we've done as an industry is get together with our partners, including the federal agencies that we work with, and making sure that if we find technology that we really think has a chance, we want to make sure those products succeed. So that's our entire mission. What you see here in this photo are the graduates of MedTech Innovator 2019 on the stage at AdvaMed's The MedTech Conference, which is last year was held in Boston. This year it's going to be in Toronto. And the important thing is in front of the graduating class, you also see behind them the photos of the products that have been brought to market by our alumni. MedTech Innovator has 258 alumni at this point from our 6 cohorts. This is a really amazing group of companies that we're lucky to have in our portfolio. They've gone on to raise $1.6 billion in follow-on funding, which is just incredible. For those of you who know the medtech space, it is difficult to raise money, and the fact that our companies have gone on to raise that kind of capital is pretty amazing. More importantly, they have 54 products on the market at this point. That is amazing. That's what our mission is all about, is bringing technology to patients. Not just about raising funding, but products to patients. And that's what today is about, is your opportunity as judges and experts to help some of these startups that we've identified as being high performing. And so we hope they're going to be in these statistics too. Other notable point I'll point out here is that we have given out $2.4 million in non-dilutive funding to date. And we've had 11 acquisitions from our cohorts, 2 of them in the last few weeks. So pretty amazing times, even given the environment today. So very excited about the opportunity to add some more companies to our portfolio. We've been on the road now since February, although we've taken the road virtually. So since March, when things got locked down and COVID really seeded here in the US, we've been doing these events online. And as I mentioned before, we've been able to really capture the same spirit of those events here in these pitch events online, using some of the advanced features in Zoom that not everybody uses. So we're very excited about that. You'll see how that works shortly. So MedTech Innovator, as I mentioned, is an accelerator as well as a showcase. We're trying to find those companies and make sure they get a chance to meet the people in the industry they need to know. So we run a program that will run throughout June through September. We typically get together to kick off our program in San Francisco before Wilson Sonsini's annual medical device conference. This year, because of COVID, we won't be getting together in person, but we'll be doing an online program to kick off our summit, which we typically do in person. This is a program for startups to meet with the leadership in the industry. So you'll see not only the startups, the 50 startups that will be in our program participating, but also you'll have a number of people who will be participating as panelists and experts to provide information, such as Casey McGlynn from Wilson Sonsini or David Kasich from MedTech Strategist, who are both on this call, representatives from Silicon Valley Bank and others who are there giving you industry information, as well as all of our corporate partners who you'll be meeting many of them today. So we'll be introducing them as today goes along. But this is an opportunity to get together, to work even online and do matching of these companies with mentors who can help them bring their products to market. It's very custom tailored to those companies. We had over 1,000 companies apply for this year's program. So out of those 1,000 companies, we're seeing 200 of them pitch in events like today, and we'll choose 50 of them to be in this program. So a number of the companies who are presenting today will be on this slide in the future. And at the end of our program, we have our showcase and finals at the MedTech conference. So this is AdvaMed's conference. It'll be October 4th through 7th in Toronto this year. You see some of the pictures on the screen just showing you what this looks like. We have a showcase stage. You see it in the bottom left over there, where all of our companies will be on panels presenting to an audience based on topics. So the topics will be typically set up by industry sectors. So we'll have orthopedics, and we'll have cardiovascular, and we'll have neuro, and we might have digital, and so on. We'll basically be setting up different panels where people from the industry can get together to learn about these technologies and learn not just about the pitches that you normally would see, but also talking about the technology themselves and trends in the industry. So this will be on the floor at the AdvaMed MedTech conference. And then you also see our finals in this other picture over here. So out of all the companies this year that'll be in the program, we will have a finals competition where we'll be giving away prizes to the winner. The audience chooses the winner in MedTech Innovator. It's always been that way since the very beginning. So even though we run this whole process with all these experts and people who are teeing things up, ultimately it's the audience at the MedTech conference that will choose the winner. Last year, that was Forest Devices with a transformative technology for stroke triage that won our first place, which was $350,000 of non-dilutive funding last year. We'll also give away another $150,000 to other companies who are participating in the program at similar competitions. So that's how everything wraps up. So that's a quick overview on MedTech Innovator and giving you a little bit of the stage setting the stage for what we're doing. I'm also now going to introduce William Howell, who's the Chief Operating Officer at MTEC. And I'll let Bill tell you a little bit about MTEC and the organization that we've been partnered now for 3 years. So Bill, if you want to tell us about MTEC.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul, and good morning to everybody who is there. First of all, let me thank all those companies who are being represented today and are taking the time to be able to pitch to us as to what their technologies are, the potential clinical uses, and the maturity of which they're in at this moment. The MTEC is a nonprofit whose real mission is to be able to go out and find and award solicitations that will accelerate companies toward being able to reach FDA approval in the area of military needs. And our primary client in that is the military itself, and our primary funding source is the military. We act sort of as a broker for the military. They give us their particular needs. We go out and find companies. We get them to join our consortium, and today we have over 331 companies. And in that, we generate solicitations that will eventually be evaluated by the military, and then we award accordingly. Last year, we did about $80 million worth of business, just under $80 million worth of awards. This year, it looks, because of the COVID-19 plus-ups that we're getting, we'll probably exceed $120 million that we will probably go out. So there's an apple there for you if you're in the right sort of disciplines and the right areas. The purpose of today really is, one of the things we also do, of course, is try and reach out to as many companies as we can and understand what they're doing and help align them to those military needs if they're in that space. Paul's group we've been working with for about 3 years now, and the summary as to how we got here today. A lot of you put in your applications back in the November or end of last year. We culled through about 800 of them, got them down to about 180 originally that we thought were really military focused. Then a team within the MTEC knocked those down to about 65 companies. We passed that over to the military, and they came down for the final list, which is about 35 companies who are going to be pitched today. So to a degree, congratulations, you've gone through sort of a attrition rate to get to this point today as well. And so again, I appreciate that. Our goal, though, I want to make sure we have the expectations right. Our goal is to learn about you today. The military in which they do their funding, unfortunately, is like a 5-year process. And it takes probably for them to go through all their requirements. As much as we may think the Department of Defense gets a whole bunch of money, their appetite is still bigger than what they can put on their plate. So they do not have as many dollars as they'd like to have. And so they have to prioritize, like everybody else, where they end up putting their money. So in many ways, is to get that, they have to justify their budgets well in advance. So when they hear today some of the things, and we have military evaluators on this call as well, when they hear today what you have, they may like it, but they may not be able to get it funded in the next 5 to 6 months, because their 2020 budget is pretty locked and already going out the door. But their 2021 budget may have some. So what you're trying to do today is influence them as to where they may put their money in the fall to the beginning of next year. So there's a little bit of delay time, and I want to make sure you all kind of understand that even though they may love you today, the likelihood of being able to turn around and get you something in the next couple of months is not going to be very high. But this does give you their awareness, it makes you aware of your products, and then allows them to potentially move some money around so that there would be something available next year. So with that in being, I would also like to say we've got a bunch of people from MTEC on this line. We've got Dr. Lauren Palestrini from New York. She's our head of research. We've got Dave Hood out on the other coast, out of the LA area, who is our West Coast consultant, used to run a device company early in his life. My boss is actually on the line, Dr. Lester Martinez Lopez. He and I used to actually be the two senior guys who ran the military program, R&D program for years. So we're all really kind of in this space, know it very well, and we're helping to augment then the military evaluators to make sure you're in the right space. The final thing I'll say, Paul, and then I'll shut up so you can get back to what you need to do. We've got other evaluators here too. And one of the things I think is important is that the military wants to fund companies that can succeed, not just technologies. To put money into a company that has a great technology but can't run the business or doesn't have the wherewithal to be able to get from animal testing into human testing, for example, are unfortunately not going to do them a lot of good. So we really do listen to the rest of the team that Paul has put together, which is in many cases some experts, business guys, financial guys that are part of this. And all of that together will kind of come at the end of the day. We'll sort out and kind of see who we think looks like the best prospects to go forward. So I think that'll do for me, Paul. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Absolutely, Bill. Thank you very much for being our partner. We really enjoy our relationship. We've been able to do this, as I mentioned, now for 3 years together, and looking forward to many more of those together. Hopefully not from our attics and basements and closets and spare bedrooms. Hopefully we'll be doing that back at our place of work. But in any event, no matter where we are, we're looking forward to continuing this relationship. So been really, really great doing this together. All right, so let me go back to sharing my screen and give you some quick final notes about today. I mentioned before some of our partners, in addition to MTEC and the US Army. We also have a number of partners from the industry. So just very quickly over here on the screen, you can see some of these companies. Johnson & Johnson and RCT, who helped put up the money to found MedTech Innovator in the first place. I spent 12 years as a venture capitalist working at RCT before this. So I was very, very fortunate that we were able to start this program there and spin it out as a standalone company. Baxter joined us as a partner soon after that, followed by the other companies you see here on the screen. So Maxim Integrated, Nipro, Olympus, and Gore, Asahi Intech, Edwards, Fujikura, Jabil, Zymedica, Edge Ones, Experience Group, Greenlight Guru, Proxima, and Westwood and Wilshire. You're actually going to get a chance to meet representatives from almost every one of these companies today, depending on who you're pitching to, and whether you meet them in your small judging groups or whether you have a chance maybe to chat with them separately in the networking. These representatives are here, and they're here because they are supporting our program for the same reason we are. Everyone is aligned with the same mission to bring these technologies to market. So very pleased to have them here today. I can't introduce everybody individually, but as I said, you'll get a chance to meet some of them during your judging groups. So now you've heard some of the good reasons why we're here today. We just want to put the word out that one of the things we find, unfortunately, is that a lot of great healthcare startups fail for the wrong reasons. My COO, Catherine Zavala, and I put together an article not too long ago in Stat News. You can look this up later. Just Google "Why Healthcare Startups Fail," Stat News, or you can use that URL that you see on the screen. But either way, you can Google that and find the article. Without going into too much detail right now, I'll let you know that the article goes into a lot of background on why startups fail in these 10 different areas. These are all things that are avoidable. And that is the cool thing about this article, is these are all things you can actually fix. You can't help it if your technology fails, but you can certainly fix these other things. We don't want you to fail for the wrong reasons. So please read the article. Please make changes as necessary. We do recommend tips in that article on how to fix those problems. All right, so as Bill mentioned, we've lined up a number of experts to meet with our startups today. We have over 70 who are participating today, which is pretty tremendous. So in addition to representatives from the Army and from MTEC, you're going to have a chance to meet with lots of people. I'm putting up here on the screen. I'm not going to read everybody's name, but I will mention that we have experts who are available from a number of different disciplines. We have people participating from a number of our partners, as I mentioned, on the manufacturing side, but we also have people participating from some of the key areas like regulatory and reimbursement. We have investors who are participating today. We have people who are participating in a number of development areas, in everything from design to manufacturing. Basically, everything that you need in terms of bringing your product to market, we have people who representing today who are in those areas. We also have providers, we have payers, we have all sorts of people participating who can answer your questions. So I put them up here on the screen so you can just kind of quickly just get a general sense of the types of companies and the types of people who are participating. We also have a number of other federal agencies. So we have representatives, for example, from the VA who are participating today, who can answer some of your questions about the VA, or going to ask you questions in that area. So again, many great people for you to meet. These out judges. All right, so I've done enough talking. We're now going to meet the startups who are presenting today. So we have 15 startups presenting. You see the order of the companies here. I'm also going to put up their logos quickly so you can see them visually. So each of these companies, as we mentioned, was selected out of hundreds of companies, over 800 companies that applied in general, and then hundreds and hundreds of companies that said they were interested in pitching to the military. We're going to be doing an event today and a second half tomorrow. So in total, we'll be looking at 30 companies. So very excited about that. We're going to have each of these companies give a 1-minute pitch right now. And the reason we do that, for those of you who haven't been with us before, is that each judge is scheduled to meet with 5 companies. Each judge is going to be assigned to different breakout rooms completely automatically by Liz. And I'll tell you a little more about that in a minute after these pitches. But because we don't have the ability for all judges to see all 15 companies give their long pitch, we're going to have all 15 give a 1-minute pitch right now, so you can get some context for who these companies are and have a sense of who they, which companies you might want to follow up with later. Even if you didn't have a chance to see them pitch, all of their contact information is in our bio book. And even though we've sent you that link, we'll also be putting that into the chat as well shortly. So I'm going to call up each of these companies in order. So first will be 8 Chili. And when I put up your slide, you've got 1 minute. There'll be a little countdown clock in the corner, which you can see up here on the right. So just watch the countdown clock and go ahead and give us your 1-minute pitch. So we're going to start with Arvind and tell us about 8 Chili.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, this is Arvind here. And 8 Chili is a Bay Area-based MedTech startup. So we are developing a next-generation surgical navigation device that's truly portable and multifunctional. Our moonshot is to deliver the first of its kind non-robotic medical device that will enable telesurgery and telesurgical training. We use deep technologies like augmented reality, AI, and machine vision, along with edge networking protocols to solve some of the challenges that have been in remote collaboration. I'm looking forward to take you all in detail about how we do and what's our story and vision. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arvind. Great. Looking forward to hearing more. All right, next up, wearables.
Wearables is a sleep improvement company serving the needs of 13 million insomnia population and their clinicians, underserved by the medical system's sleeping pills and one-night sleep apnea tests, and the fitness market's lack of accuracy and lack of improvement focus. If you have insomnia, the clinical guidelines say that you need cognitive behavioral therapy or CBTI, but only 200 therapists are certified in that. Our standalone, low-cost, low-burden app guides you through adaptive AI-based CBTI, and you can add our high-precision wearable with our patented algorithms to x-ray your sleep, REM, deep sleep, best postures every night at home to promote adherence. Unfortunately, COVID-19's months of grief, loss, and lifestyle change is the textbook way insomnia starts off. So now is the time to join us in our essential role to bring this product to market. And we also know that pre-deployment insomnia is linked with post-deployment new PTSD, and it's a great opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, and I hope you can send me one of those after today's event. I could use one. All right, next up, Beacon Bio.
Hello, our company provides optical diagnostic solutions for cognitive impairment diseases. So the aging population of the United States will experience an increase in the incidence of diseases and disorders that manifest with dementia, cognitive impairment. Alzheimer's disease alone affects 5.7 million Americans, costing our healthcare system almost $300 billion a year. Beacon Bio can provide a simple eye exam that is objective, non-invasive, accurate, and the only means to detect the disease in its early stages of development. Our technology can expedite diagnosis and get new innovative treatments to the people affected by this devastating disease. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, Biomodex. If you're muted, please unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So Biomodex is a Paris and Boston-based digital health company focusing on precision medicine. We have a 3D printing solution that's quite unique, designed for training and case-specific rehearsal, combining both haptic feedback and imaging capabilities. Solution is simple and highly portable. Ordering is facilitated by a web-based portal that we use with our current customers. The solution is currently marketed through both B2B and B2C models, and we've established beachheads across all of these areas, working with major strategics, imaging companies, and robotic companies. We are also currently selling our products and our technologies direct to hospitals and hospital groups, primarily in the US, but also in France. We expect this solution to improve case planning, resulting in reduced procedure costs, improving acute and chronic outcomes, and preparing a series of publications currently. From a military perspective, we have a number of options dealing with traumatic injuries, which simulate and how to deal with those events that we sell currently to the French military and are hoping to make that available in the US. Thank you.
Terrific, thank you very much. All right, next up, Elemento Health.
Hey, I'm Dr. Arup Roy Berman, former medical director at UCSF Children's. I'm co-founder and CEO of Elemento. In healthcare today, the biggest problem is this rapidly growing amount or volume of healthcare practices. We have a growing gap between institutional knowledge and frontline practice. And what that means is inconsistencies. That means waste, it means errors. At Elemento, we close that gap. We help your departments and department leaders take their key practices and convert it into bite-sized microlearning, whether checklists, decision guides, or interactive video, and deliver it on any device so your Gen Z workforce can pull it when they need it. This reduces variability, improves communication, improves consistency. That means you save time, you save money, improve consistency, improve quality, decrease errors. Fast, easy, no IT required.
Terrific, thank you very much. All right, next up, Exonicus.
Hi, my name is Sandis, co-founder and chairman of Exonicus, with the product Trauma Simulator. A trauma simulator is just like a flight simulator for pilots, but specifically, a trauma simulator is for medical training. And so the problem, what we are solving, comes from the US Army specifically from the Madigan Army Medical Center. And so we built together a solution where they can go inside the virtual reality, do the decision training practice. It's much cheaper, more effective, especially in these times. It's better to train in virtual space, and also it's scalable, way more scalable. And so we are engaged with engagement with the US Department of Defense, and also our product is reviewed, and there's ongoing negotiation with Latvia, Germany, France, Spanish governments as well. Thank you, Sandis Exonicus.
Thank you. Looking forward to learning more. All right. Next up, MTEC.
The term operating room theater was coined to describe the way that physicians have trained for hundreds of years. Unfortunately, this method requires physicians to give up multiple days of patient care and puts them at an unnecessary risk of infection. Imagine a technology where physicians could train remotely without the burdens of travel or risk of infection. This is exactly the technology that MTEC has built and deployed with leading surgeons and medical device companies. Let me tell you how it works. Physicians use our app to request access to a scheduled training. Once approved, they are sent a VR headset, and at the time of the surgery, they receive a secure PIN to access the event. This PIN gives remote access to a live surgery with an expert surgeon where users can observe, communicate, and collaborate all in real time. At the current rate of medical innovation, we believe this ease of access is vital, and we're determined to increase global access to innovative surgeons, procedures, and techniques. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. Really interesting. All right. Next up, Inflamatics.
Hi, folks. I'm Tim Sweeney, CEO and co-founder of Inflamatics. Imagine that today you went to the emergency room with a cough and a fever, and your physician took a chest x-ray and it showed that you had a pneumonia. Good studies show that they could use the 4 common tests, a blood culture, a sputum culture, a respiratory panel, and urine serologies, and they'd only find a pathogen 30 to 40% of the time. Standard of care is that physicians try to treat patients with infections without ever knowing what the bug is. Inflamatics is a novel diagnostics company that's trying to do things differently. We've built a unique immune readout platform that can tell us what the immune system is reacting to answer 3 key questions right up front in emergency department workflow. Those are, do I prescribe antibiotics? What other tests does the patient need? And where's the patient going? And if we can answer those 3 tests in less than 30 minutes, we're going to fundamentally change the way emergency departments are run. But we also have a suite of tests that address things like outpatient visits, ICU visits, therapy response, and others. Look forward to telling you more in depth. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Tim, and it's good seeing you again.
You as well.
All right, next up, Mendability.
Hi, I'm Kim, co-founder of Mendability. We are the creator and telehealth provider of sensory enrichment therapy that treats autism by stimulating brain plasticity. Sensory enrichment is an evidence-based therapy that is inspired by the impressive results in the field of environmental enrichment and has been proven by randomized controlled trials. Parents and professionals can administer the therapy at home with little to no training thanks to our expert system and telehealth delivery system. We have served over 3,000 families, certified over 300 professionals, and with recent changes in the FDA and with COVID-19, we believe sensory enrichment can finally become mainstream. We're looking for funds to help us obtain insurance codes and prepare the company for FDA approval. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you very much. All right. Next up, PainQX. Frank, if you're there, you can unmute. Give you a couple seconds, Frank. Going once, going twice. All right, Frank, if you are there and are having any difficulties, message Liz, and we will make sure that we get a chance to hear your 1-minute pitch later. Next up, we have Pyrus.
Yes, hi, good morning. I'm Dr. Steve Sessler, CEO of Pyrus. The largest, fastest growing segment of the US population is the rural elderly. Over 10,000 people in the US turn 65 every day. So how are we to provide healthcare for the very people who will need it most, but live where it's hardest to get? Telehealth, as we've seen during the COVID-19 crisis, can profoundly improve the way we deliver healthcare without regard to geographic proximity. At Pyrus, we're taking telehealth to the next level. Telerobotic surgery is the natural evolution of telehealth. Like self-driving cars, it's an idea that's been trapped in our collective consciousness for more than a decade, and we believe it's time to set it free. Leveraging our industry partners and proprietary data streaming platform, Pyrus is building the infrastructure for rural telerobotic surgical healthcare. In this way, Pyrus provides an effective, scalable, economically responsible means to bring subspecialty surgical skill where it is needed most. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up, Rescape.
Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are. My name's Matt Wordley. I'm the Chief Exec at Rescape. Myself and the team are pioneering the use of immersive technologies to solve problems in healthcare, like reducing pain and anxiety. We also deliver VR solutions within the workplace, currently delivering empathy training into the justice and immigration sector. We've sold over 50 of our platform to healthcare establishments, including hospitals, care homes, and hospices. We have a number of clinical trials running at the moment, including one on the use of our system to help frontline medical staff deal with anxiety due to dealing with COVID patients. Build on our successes and to be able to deploy at scale VR solutions to help with many areas of health and make impact on people's lives. Rescape will become a leading global provider of immersive technologies to healthcare providers, related businesses and individuals within 5 years. We look to own the entire ecosystem from research to testing and deploy, delivering the right immersive content to the right people at the right time.
Terrific. Thank you, Matt. Stay out of that wind. All right. Next up, SemPulse.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Working with the DoD, can you hear me?
We can.
Working with the DoD, we developed a triage platform specifically with SEAL Team 4 to deal with IED or prolonged field care situations. Our Halo device weighs less than 1 ounce. So working with SEAL Team 4 was extremely demanding. They developed a software platform around that optimized for 9-line and medevac, but it also was designed in a flexible way to be interoperable with MedHub and in the Air Force's BATDOC situation, as well as build on top of it a machine learning platform so where we can already point to things such as internal hemorrhaging. So all of this has been developed in concert. We've won multiple SBIR awards, X-Tech Search Grants, Mass Challenge Top Prize winner, and we've built it in a flexible open architecture so that our use cases extend into telemedicine, remote and virtual care, as well as training environments, because we have a platform that most hardware takes its sensor data, but we've applied accelerometers and other sensors in novel ways and combined them with multiple data points so that we can optimize our medical grade efficacy.
Terrific. Thank you very much. Looking forward to hearing more about SemPulse. All right. Next up, Unique AI.
When it comes to saving lives, every second counts, especially in a complicated and dangerous environment such as the battlefield. Current medical casualty evacuation solution failed to provide the right decisions at the right time, and wrong decisions regarding who, where, when, and how to evacuate might have very severe affections on the casualty status and even lead to death. Hi, my name is Nadav, co-founder and CEO at Unique AI Systems, and we have developed an AI-based real-time planning and decision support solution to automatically create the optimal casualty evacuation plan based on the operational situation, the availability of evacuation resources, destinations and routes, and casualty medical status. Our solution was tested in the IDF and received very good feedbacks. Unique AI team brings over 20 years of operational experience and over 15 years of hands-on experience in developing decision support solutions for the healthcare domain. Looking forward to participating in MedTech Innovator. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Vivonix.
So good morning. I'm Gordon Hirschman, CEO of Vivonix and also of CranioSense, the company we've stood up to commercialize our iPass device. Now, iPass is a portable device for non-invasive assessment of intracranial pressure, which can increase due to traumatic brain injury, which actually exacerbates the injury. Now, currently, measuring intracranial pressure requires surgically drilling a hole in the skull to place an invasive device, and this severely limits its use. But non-invasive ICP assessment will be more widely applied and support prompt detection and intervention addressing an unmet need in a $2 billion market. Our iPass device uses near-infrared sensors placed on the skin to detect changes in cerebral blood flow that are caused by elevated pressure. Using government funding, we've collected data from over 40 patients in the clinic with invasive ICP sensors to support development of our non-invasive technology. The iPass device will be portable, economical, and easy to use, providing initial assessment in seconds with continuous updates. iPass is going to improve outcomes through early detection and intervention. Thank you.
Thank you. So that was the last of the company list. We have PainQX, I believe, is still on. So Frank, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Great. So I'm going to go backwards and bring up your slides. So stand by, and you can go ahead and give us your pitch. All right, go ahead.
Sure, thank you. I'm Frank Manella, founder and CEO of PainQX. Accurate medical diagnostics are essential to assess, define, and guide treatment. However, in the world of pain assessment, this has heretofore been impossible. The current standard of care, the 0 to 10, happy face, smiley face, patient self-report, is wholly unreliable and not replicable. Furthermore, pain is a tremendous issue within the ecosystem, affecting more than a third or 120 million Americans each year, which is more than cancer, heart disease, and diabetes combined. My company, PainQX, has a solution for pain assessment. PainQX is developing the world's first medical device to objectively measure chronic pain. In simple terms, we are an AI-powered digital device that captures, decodes, and quantifies neural activity, and then translates that into an objective pain biomarker. The neural input is commercially available off-the-shelf EEG, which is already FDA cleared, and the software output is replicable and translates that neural activity into a neural biomarker. And this is delivered in real time at low cost at the point of care.
Terrific. Thank you, Frank. I'm glad we got your audio. Okay. So that's the companies going to be presenting today. We're going to have one more company as well as a bonus. Fisher Wallace is also going to be joining us. So anyone who had picked Fisher Wallace as one of their companies that they really wanted to meet with will be reaching out to you later so that you're able to meet with them at our 1:30 session Eastern time, 10:30 Pacific. So we will follow up during the break, and I'll be messaging you privately for anyone who wants to meet with Fisher Wallace as well. So terrific lineup, great companies. Very excited to have the opportunity for you to see them. So again, just very quickly in terms of how this is going to work, I'm going to just quickly turn off my slide share here and explain this. So I'm going to introduce a couple members of the MedTech Innovator team. So if you see them in your room, you'll know they're from MedTech Innovator. Liz Peak, you've already met at the beginning. Liz is our program director and air traffic controller for Zoom. Her role today, besides all the work that went into preparing for today, she's also going to be doing something pretty incredible, which is she's going to be using this feature in Zoom that was really not designed for this, but it was designed to set up breakout rooms that you just kind of go into once. She's going to be actually moving people from room to room. So you don't really have to do anything. You know, we've already got your schedule set. We know which room you're supposed to be in at what time. And Liz is actually going to be moving you digitally from room to room. So all you have to do is sit back and relax, and you'll be scheduled into the appropriate room. So all of the startups in between each round, she'll be reassigning you to different rooms. And for some of our judges, she'll be reassigning them as well. And what that means is that some of our partners, so whether they're from the Army or from MTEC or from our corporate partners that I mentioned earlier, they will be going to see startups that they have selected in advance, along with all of you. Everyone had a chance to select which startups you wanted to most see. And then we prioritize that schedule so that we could have small groups form who could then see a schedule of 5 companies in a row. So every once in a while, startups, you may go into a room and not see the people who are listed on the schedule that we sent you in advance. That's just fine. You should go ahead and still do your presentation, whether it's 2 people or 7 people in the room. Do your presentation, and this is an opportunity, as I said, not only to give your pitch, but to get a lot of feedback. So for your startups, very important that when you give your pitch, you give a short pitch. So it should be no more than 5 minutes. If it's 6 minutes or so, that's fine. 7 minutes is really starting to push it. You should really be done with your slides by 6-7 minutes. At 10 minutes, these are each 20-minute sessions. there'll be a little notice that will appear across the top of the screen that says 10 minutes left. So watch for that. At 5 minutes, there'll be another notice, 5 minutes left in the session. And then finally, a big dialog box will come up and say, session's ending in 60 seconds, and it'll count down at the bottom. And then it ends, and you'll be back here in the main room. So for each of these rounds, that's how it's going to work. There'll be a 5-minute break in between, and that 5-minute break can be used if you need to take a quick break. You can do that and come right back, or you can stay here and you'll have a chance to meet some of the people who are on the event today and who are participating. So please do stay if you're able to do that during the breaks, but we do recommend getting up and stretching because this is like being on a long-haul flight sometimes. So, all right, with that, I want to introduce the other two people on the team who are here on the call from MedTech Innovator. Catherine Zavala, our COO. Catherine, you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. It's really nice to see familiar faces and new faces in the gallery today. We're very much looking forward to hearing all the pitches.
Thank you, Catherine. And Brian Benson, our VP of Strategic Alliances.
Morning or afternoon, everybody. Really excited to have everybody here, especially on a virtual format, and looking forward to keeping the enthusiasm going through the rest of the day and getting some good companies through the program.
Thank you, Brian. All right, so with that, you'll have a chance to meet other people during the breaks, as I mentioned. Liz is going to take us into this first session. So when she starts, when she hits the button, you're going to see a little button on the screen that just says enter your breakout room. You just click that and you'll be in your room. That's a quick moment then for all the judges who are in that room to introduce themselves. So you don't have to give a long introduction, but a short, hi, I'm Paul Grand, CEO of MedTech Innovator. We're an accelerator for medical technology. Although don't say that, tell us what you do. And then we'll go, after the intros, we'll go right into the startup pitch. If one of the MedTech Innovator people is in the room, they'll probably moderate some of the session to help things move. But if we're not in the room, somebody who's done this before, please take the initiative to make sure that you moderate and self-moderate. So if you look up and you see that the startup's been pitching for 12 minutes and you haven't had a chance to ask questions, you can say, hey, you know what, guys, we really need to ask some questions. So could you please wrap this up? And please do that sooner than 12 minutes. That should be at like the 6-7 minute mark. All right. That's it. So we're going to be back here in 20 minutes. You're going to have a 20-minute pitch session. Judges, if you have any questions, you can message Liz after that. You have to leave the room. There'll be a little link in the bottom that says leave room if you need to go out and ask a question or if you have any difficulty. But if you think you're in the wrong room or something else, please leave the room and go back and Liz will help you out. So that's it. See you guys in 20 minutes and have a good round.